You know, ASUU strike to begins anytime from now. ASUU strike again. Very good. Not just this is not just ASUU strike, but the ASUU, they said 239 first class lecturers has resigned over poor payment. 200 first class lecturers has resigned over poor payment. Now the ASUU himself, ASUU is about to go on strike again. You see, we have a lot of problems and a long way to go. Do you understand? So if 239 first class lecturers has resigned over poor payment, how many do they have before? And how many of those first class left? I think they said about 7 first class lecturers that has left teaching students. Imagine that means to say, what do they have? They have they left with a third class, second class teaching the student until we take our educational sector seriously, because now we are not serious in this country. Do you understand? Tinubu said under his watch there will be no ASUU strike, that he was going to do everything possible to make sure all the issues resolved. There will be no more ASUU strike. The same thing categorically, he said that vehemently, there will be no more ASUU strike. Secondly, under his 4 years first term, if he does not give us electricity, that Nigerians should not vote for him for second term. Now 2 years don't work out. We have not seen any sign of 24-hour electricity. That one failed. You see the problem we are having in this country now. What we are even having now, that is just a mediocre. This is not even a brain drain. Mediocre. You see, we have a lot of issues here. The issue started from the beginning. Reason why we do not take our educational sector seriously, because if you say you want to grow your economy, you want to bring paradise to the country, yeah, and you neglect this educational sector, so how is it possible to bring paradise to this country when you don't have a working system, where you do not have where your educational sector is nothing to write home about? It's not working. It is this student that you fail to teach at the one that needs to be trained, that need to receive a serious education so that they can go into labor force and bring development to the system. They are the one to develop. Now we are training illiterate. Is it illiterate that is going to develop the economy of this country? Now this student we fail to teach today. They are the one to grow the economy tomorrow, to develop the system tomorrow, because we failed yesterday to teach people. That's the reason why the system continue to fail. The system is failing because those ones, we did not provide a serious good education for them yesterday. That's why the system is failing. Now yet until this time, we still have not taken our educational system seriously to teach our students so that tomorrow they can make the country great again. Can you imagine? You know, the problem is now all those people, those first class lecturers that resigned, where are they? Some of them, they jackpot. That's why you see, no matter the education you receive in Nigeria, when you travel outside the country, you see that you are like 100, because it's different. The difference is that it's like you are 20 or 10, 5 years behind. They left you behind in terms of education, in terms of the subject, the courses that you learned in Nigeria. You go by, you see a lot of differences there. Do you understand? So you know the problem, because our leaders, they are not educated. So somebody who is not educated, how do you expect him to provide a serious education for you to be educated? He doesn't want you to be educated more than him, because he is not educated. Do you understand? And meanwhile, when some of these leaders went to school in those days, education was affordable. Some of them went to elementary school, they call it in those days, elementary school in those days. So it was not serious, free education, this and that. But today, it is not so. They make it more difficult, harder. They make it difficult, make it harder to go to school, to study. Everything, they make it difficult for the citizens of this country, because they are not well educated, they are not well taught, they don't know the value of education. Now check all our institutions. Educational sector failed, nothing to write home about. Healthcare sectors, nothing to write home about. Police, nothing, they are not doing enough. Our roads are not fixed, nothing. Our aviation sectors are not working properly, roads are not working. So what is working when it comes to government sector, government organizations? What is working in this country? The major problem is because we allow illiterate to come into power, to rule people who are at least have opportunity to even educate themselves. Now illiterate is leading them. That is the problem. And those people who had opportunity to educate themselves, they do not have the opportunity to come into the system to change the system. That's why now they are saying a new constitution. We need a new constitution. If not, it's not going to work. Do you know why? This problem started from the beginning when they said for you to lead the country as a number one, either a governor or president, if you have a school certificate, that you are allowed to contest in any government office, that if you have first class, if you have school certificate, as in WAEC, that you are allowed, you have guarantee, you met all the requirement to contest for government office, governor, president. That's the problem of this country. When you say somebody who is not educated, because he maybe God blesses the person in his business or private world, then he will not come into power to say, yes, in those days I have a school certificate, I can contest, I qualify for it. No, it cannot make educational system serious for others to be educated, because he doesn't see it as something that is important. Do you understand? Because yes, you will agree with me, you don't need a first class, you don't need education to be succeed in life. You don't need a master's degree. Even if you have a master's degree or you have PhD, it's not a guarantee to success. You need knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to be successful in life. It does not matter the level of your education, but it is very important the level of your education to lead others. You do not need education to succeed in life, but you need education to lead others. Do you understand? Now, check out the whole countries in the world. How many leaders do you see? They drop out of school. They are not well educated. They do not have a certificate to show up that their certificate is being questioned, or they have characters when it comes to education. Their certificate is not verifiable. Check all the countries in the world. I'm not saying there is no, like I said, you don't need education to succeed. You need knowledge, wisdom. But when it comes to public office, as a government officials, you need education. But in our own system, you don't need education. That is the problem. So until they change this system, this constitution that says you must have, you don't need a master's degree. You don't need a first degree. You don't need master's degree. Otherwise, we are not going to take educational system serious. Now, Tinubu, for his certificate is not verifiable, it's not questionable. He will not take educational system serious because he does not need education. He does not succeed because he was educated, because he went to school. No, that is the problem of this ASUU we keep having back and forth, right? It's a lot of problem. So Tinubu's daughter in America, where he schools, his accommodation in school, I think they say he pay almost 200 million. Let me not lie, millions of naira for accommodation to attend school where he's schooling, where she's schooling there. So like that, go and check all our schools in Nigeria. Nothing to write home about. Check the hostels, check all the schools, check where students are receiving lectures, everything. Nothing is working. Nothing is working. And now first class lecturers, they are resigned. They left the country because of poor payment. And now, because our whole way of conducting the election will make everything so difficult for people who are well educated to come in. Because imagine a lecturer, first class lecturer, who is not well paid. Is it where would he have money? Where would he get money to come and contest election? Before you know, you have to first of all buy from 100 million naira. Does he have it? No. A lecturer who is not well paid, that cannot be able to take care of himself and his family. Is it that person that is coming to? No, he's not coming. That's why they make it. If we rewrite this, our constitution has to be revisited. We have to make it mandatory. Like I said before, my previous video, I said if I have the opportunity to even start with, before you become the president of this country, you need to have two PhD. Then for you to be the governor, you need to have at least, if not one PhD, it will be master's degree. You need to have one PhD safe. You must have it. Then every ministers must be a master's degree holders. There is no, if your certificate is not verifiable, forget it. But in Nigeria here, go and check. Most of these ministers, their certificate are questionable. They are not verifiable. Some of them are forgery every time. That is the problem. Somebody who could afford to forge certificate, is it the person who is going to make education easier for students to attend? No, it does not have that as something is concerned or something serious. No, go and check other countries in the world. Like for example, in the UK, the House of Commons, the House of Lords, is it who is that person? Who is that person that his certificate will be questioned, that he does not have certificate, that they will screen through? No. Or the House of Senate in Wales, or House of Holyhood in Scotland. So go and check all of them. All of them, they are leading the country. Brilliant. But go and check illiteracy. You say for you to hire somebody to work in a bank as a cleaner, you need first class. You need a school, you need a first degree. But for you to contest election as a governor or even the president who is going to manage all the first class PhD professors, you don't need education. That is where the problem of this country started. Until we revisit our constitution, put all these things in order. Otherwise, this issue of education will always come up. ASUU strike will always come up. Till we have somebody who is well educated, who know the value of education, who is academia, just like Jonathan did in 2009. That was when Jonathan coming to this ASUU strike. At least he was able to do something at that time. Otherwise, we're going to have this issue back and forth. It's not going to work. So please share this video.